You've read the books, you've watched the videos, probably some of mine. You know you're supposed to get down to eye level, validate the feeling, name the emotion. I see you're frustrated. It's okay to be mad. You've said these words out loud to a screaming toddler on the kitchen floor, and it didn't work. He screamed louder. Maybe he hit something, maybe he hit you, and there you were doing everything right by the script, and it felt like nothing, like you were speaking a different language to someone who wasn't even in the room anymore. If stay calm and name the feeling got you this far and then just stopped working, this one's for you, because there's a layer underneath all of that gentle parenting advice that almost nobody talks about. And once you see it, a lot of those failed techniques start making sense, not as failures, but as the wrong tool for that specific moment. Here's the thing I want to start with, and it's going to sound strange. During a real meltdown, your toddler cannot hear you, not emotionally, literally. Their brain in that moment is not in a state where language processing and emotional regulation are even available. You could say the most perfectly validating sentence ever written, and it would land like static. This connects to something called polyvagal theory, developed by Dr. Stephen Porges, a researcher who spent decades studying the autonomic nervous system, first at the University of Maryland and later at Indiana University. The basic idea is that our nervous system has different states, and they're not something we choose with our thinking brain. One state is calm and connected. Porges sometimes calls this the social engagement state. Another is fight or flight, and there's a third, more shut down state for when fight or flight isn't an option. During a full meltdown, a toddler isn't choosing to ignore you. Their nervous system has shifted into a state where the parts of the brain that handle listening to reasonable words from mom are functionally offline. Not broken, offline, like a phone in airplane mode. The calls aren't being refused, they're not even reaching the phone. So when you crouch down and say, "I see you're frustrated" in your calmest voice, to a kid who is fully in that state, you're dialing a number that isn't receiving calls right now. This was honestly one of those moments for me where I felt a little betrayed by all the parenting content I'd consumed. Not because it was wrong. The validating feeling stuff isn't wrong. It's the second step. And almost everything I'd read jumped straight to step 2. Step 1 is regulation, not the toddler's, yours, and then, through you, theirs. There's a concept that gets used a lot in attachment and nervous system research called co-regulation. And one of the clearest ways I've seen it described is something like a tuning fork. If you've never seen this in real life, it's wild. You strike one tuning fork and a second one nearby, same frequency, starts vibrating too without being touched. That's roughly the relationship between your nervous system and your toddlers, especially under 3. They don't have their own functioning calm down system yet. They're borrowing yours constantly, whether either of you signed up for that or not, which means, and I want to say this gently because I know how it can land, during a meltdown, the most important nervous system in the room isn't his, it's yours. If you walk in already activated, tense shoulders, clipped voice, that specific kind of tight breathing we all do when we're at our limit, you're not bringing calm into the room for him to borrow. You're bringing more of whatever's already happening, 2 tuning forks, both vibrating at "this is too much." Okay, I want to get into the practical side of this now, because understanding the why is genuinely half of it, but the other half, the part that actually changes what these moments look like in your house, is something I built specifically for this, and I want to walk you through it properly. It's called the reset cycle. 3 steps: regulate, break, repair. And I built it because I kept running into this exact wall, knowing the theory and still losing it on the kitchen floor. If what I've described so far is your house too, you're not broken and you're not doing gentle parenting wrong. I put everything I learned about this, the sequence, the science, the actual moment to moment of it, into the reset cycle. It's pinned in the comments if you want to start today. Let's talk about sensory triggers for a second, because this is a piece that doesn't get enough airtime. A lot of toddler meltdowns that look like out of nowhere actually have a sensory thread running underneath them. A tag in a shirt, a sound that's slightly too loud, hunger that hit faster than expected, being too hot in a coat nobody asked to take off. The toddler usually can't tell you, "This seam is driving me insane." They don't have that vocabulary. And honestly, even adults struggle to identify their own sensory triggers in the moment. So it comes out as the only language available, big behavior. One thing I started doing, and this took me embarrassingly long to figure out, was after a meltdown was fully over, not during, just sort of mentally rewinding. What happened in the 20 minutes before? Was he hungry? Overheated? Had we just left somewhere loud? Over a couple of weeks, patterns started showing up. For my son, transitions from loud to quiet places were a big one. Leaving a noisy park and getting into a silent car was almost guaranteed chaos, every single time for a while. Once I saw that pattern, I didn't fix it exactly. I just started narrating the transition out loud before it happened. Okay, we're going from the loud park to the quiet car now, which sounds like nothing, but it gave his brain a half-second of warning instead of a sudden shift. Fewer meltdowns on that specific transition, not zero, fewer now. Emotion coaching. You've probably heard this term. It comes out of research by psychologist John Gottman, who studied how parents respond to kids' emotions and how that shapes long-term emotional development, work that came out of his lab at the University of Washington in the 1990s. The short version, parents who treat emotions, even the inconvenient, loud public ones, as something to coach through rather than something to shut down or ignore, tend to raise kids with better emotional regulation down the line. But here's the nuance that gets lost. Emotion coaching during a meltdown and emotion coaching after a meltdown are two completely different tools. During, when the nervous system is offline, coaching mostly means presence, staying near, low voice or no voice, not trying to teach anything. After, once they've come back down, that's when the vocabulary building happens. That was a big feeling. You were really mad when the tower fell. Said later when the phone is back in service. I think one of the most useful things I ever did was build what I started calling, half-jokingly, a calm corner. Though corner makes it sound fancier than it was. It was a cushion, a weighted blanket, one specific stuffed animal that lived there and nowhere else. The idea wasn't go there when you're in trouble. It was the opposite. It was a place that existed before the meltdown, that he could go to on his own, that had nothing to do with punishment. Sometimes he used it, sometimes he didn't, but having it there, established, calm, before the storm, that mattered more than I expected. Here's that sequence again because I want to land it specifically here. Regulate before you respond to the meltdown at all, even for 2 seconds. Check your own body, jaw, shoulders, breath. You're not faking calm, you're accessing it on purpose because he's about to borrow whatever you've got. Break for the moments it gets to you anyway. Loud public meltdown, your patience evaporates, you say something sharper than you wanted to. That happens. The break step is about what comes next. 60 seconds, not the rest of the day spent in guilt. Repair me after when both of you are back online. Doesn't need to be a lecture. That was really hard, huh? You were so mad. Connection first. The lesson, if there even needs to be one, comes much later, much smaller, almost as an afterthought. Building frustration tolerance, which is really what all of this adds up to, isn't about preventing every meltdown. I want to be honest about that because I think a lot of advanced parenting content quietly promises a kid who doesn't melt down anymore, and that's not realistic, and it's not even the goal. The goal is a kid whose nervous system, over time, with enough repetitions of this got hard and then it was okay, starts to have a slightly bigger window. A little more capacity, not zero meltdowns, a few inches more room before the meltdown starts. That's it. That's the whole advanced strategy underneath all the terminology, not a script that makes the screaming stop, a sequence that helps both of you come back from it, over and over, a little faster each time, a little less wrecked by it each time. So, did any of this land differently than the usual validate the feeling advice? I'm genuinely curious where you're at with this stuff right now. Tell me in the comments. I read every one. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and join the Tiny Feelings fam. Every week this is exactly the kind of thing we get into.